Hello everyone, now let us start your new chapter, chapter number 14, that is sources of energy. Right? Sources of energy. We are going to learn many sources. One rule or law that you have learned. This is called law of conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor be destroyed. Now, if this law or rule is right, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, then why we continuously boom that about energy crisis? If there is availability of energy is plenty and use of energy is also plenty, right? Then there is no energy crisis. You have learned energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, remains as it is. But the second line of this law is what? Energy can transform from one form to another form. When it transforms from one form to another form, then we cannot collect it back. As for example, if you place hot water, okay, in the atmosphere, then after some time the water will be cooled down. If water will cool down, it means what? The hotness or heat energy released in the atmosphere. So how can you collect all this heat energy once again to become this water hot? It is quite impossible. And that's why crisis of energy or energy crisis arises. Right? Very simple lesson about sources of energy. Few questions will ask, only 3 to 4 marks, and only objective will ask. Okay, or maybe 2 marks, not 3 marks, no 4 mark question. So don't worry about it. Two type of energies are there. Science divide the source means energy into two types. That is called renewable sources of energy and non-renewable. And energy is divided into two parts. Renewable energy and non-renewable energy. Renewable energy means the energy which is renewed once again. In the nature, it can regenerate again and again. That is called renewable source of energy. The source means energy which can regenerate again and again. That is called renewable source of energy in nature. Non-renewable sources of energy means energy which cannot regenerate. Again, once it is exhausted, then it cannot regenerate again. Or once it is exhausted, then it can be regenerated, but after a long period of time. After 50 years, after 100 years like this, then it is called non-renewable sources of energy. As for example, renewable sources of energy is sunlight, water, wind energy, okay, etc. are called renewable sources of energy. Non-renewable sources of energy means fossil fuel. That means petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. Food is also called renewable as well as non-renewable both. Because food is regenerated again, but it will take long time to generate a big tree. And that's why we say that food is renewable as well as non-renewable sources of energy. All fossil fuels like coal, petroleum contains what? Petrol, diesel, kerosene, etc. are called non-renewable sources of energy. Once it is exhausted, we cannot collect it back in the same form. Right? So two type of energies are there. Now the question arises that what is the good source of energy? In another language, good sources of energy our desired property. It is said that many characteristics and properties are there which are fall in this category, that is ideal energy. But remember, in the world there is no ideal energy. Characteristics are close to ideal energy, but all characteristics are not resemble into one source of energy. It is quite impossible. So what are the source of? The first is what? Calorific value of energy should be high. What do you mean by this? Calorific value means per gram. How much kilocalorie energy is released when this source of energy burns? Means during the combustion, food burns how much amount of energy per gram? Coal gives how much amount of energy? Then petrol gives how much amount of energy? All these are known as calorific value. So calorific value of energy should be high. It should burn, but it should burn with less smoke and less residue. It should burn with less smoke. Ideally no smoke, but here less smoke and less residue. Ideally no residue, but you know that it is not possible. So less smoke and less residue should be produced during its burning. Its ignition temperature is also should proper. Its ignition temperature should be proper. Ignition temperature means what? The temperature with which it starts burning. That is called burning point or ignition temperature. So ignition temperature should be proper. It should be cheap. It should be easily available. It should be cheap and easily available. Means economic value of this type of with ideal fuel must be cheap. Okay? And it should be easy to handle. It should be transported easily. It should be easy to handle and easy to transport. Okay? So this is the ideal characteristic of energy. If all these characteristics are available in one source of energy, then it is called ideal source of energy. But as you know that it is quite impossible that one source contains all these characteristics. Okay? But this is 2 to 3 marks question. That the ideal source, characteristic of ideal source of energy. Now, conventional sources of energy. Afterwards, we are going to learn, note down all this thing.